Welcome back to my channel, and let's tune into tarot for the month of July 2021. For all Sagittarius with a sun, moon, or rising sign there in your chart, this reading is for you. Keep in mind this reading is a general forecast, so it will not resonate for everyone, but take what resonates and leave the rest behind for someone else. I hope you find some guidance and insight for your month ahead. Let's go ahead and jump in. Sag, it just looks like it's a very kind of roller coaster type of month. For the first week, we have the Knight of Cups reversed. So this can suggest feelings of unrequited love. It can indicate a partner who is withholding their love or having a change of heart, or there's some kind of disillusionment in a relationship where you may have thought things were going in a certain direction and then some news came to light that sort of, it was a bit of a reality check in the first week. This could also be you yourself having a change of heart of some kind, or just rethinking the relationship a bit, or just having some kind of relationship discourse or some kind of dynamic that needs to be sorted through. Now, in the first week of July, we're still within sort of that realm that's considered the Mercury retrograde shadow period. So you're still sort of feeling the effects of a Mercury retrograde, which can bring communication breakdowns, or often relationships kind of go through some turbulence. But usually then when Mercury goes direct, things get sorted out. So we're sort of moving into that space and realm where things get sorted out, which is then also indicated in the next week where we have the 10 of Cups upright, which is a card of relationship bliss and harmony. And it's a card of long-term commitment and even marriage or engagement, or possibly going to weddings or going on a vacation to see family, or going on a family vacation. So it's a much happier, lighter energy than the first week. But it is important to keep in mind that Mercury has been retrograde in Gemini, which as a Sagittarian would be hitting your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and marriage contracts. And so it would make sense that you may be dealing with some relationship reversals while Mercury was retrograde. So it does appear from the cards that whatever relationship turmoil had taken place, that you were able to work through them and end up in a place that's much stronger and happier and blissful. So this can be emotional fulfillment and balance and harmony. And so, yeah, and it could also indicate soulmate connection. I mean, when we are really focusing on a love reading, but if you're not in a relationship and your relationship is not going through any turmoil of any kind that you're aware of, then the Knight of Cups reversed can indicate a creative block of some kind if you're working in a creative project, or just sort of, it can indicate some jealousy or some moodiness in general. Yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily mean a romantic interest is there's this unrequited love between you and another love interest. It can be more of a creative block or jealousy, or just an overall sense of moodiness within you. But that moodiness seems to be rectified, or any relationship imbalances seem to be rectified in this following week with the 10 of Cups upright. So that's a beautiful thing to see. Now, in the third week, again, we kind of go back onto that roller coaster and we get hit with the 9 of Wands reversed. So this card suggests outside influences are pressuring you to feel a certain way, believe in a certain way or philosophy, conduct yourself in a certain way, or move in a certain direction. And you've been resisting that for some time, but you're feeling such an overwhelming sense of this pressure that you sort of succumb to it, or you surrender to it. You're feeling kind of beat up a little bit, and you just can't withstand it. So you throw in the towel and you give in. So this is interesting. In one way, I can see how this might manifest in that maybe you've been vacillating as far as how you feel in a relationship. And while on one hand you can move it into more of a long-term committed or marriage, or like you move in together and you commit to a family, kind of more of a family dynamic, and you just kind of take the relationship to the next level. You may be vacillating between that and also, on the other hand, maintaining your boundaries. So maybe maintaining separate living situations and more space between you, and just kind of keeping the relationship more separate. The Nine of Wands reverse can have to do with boundaries and kind of withstanding or holding your boundaries strongly. So that's one thing that's kind of coming through, that you might be vacillating between like whether you want to move forward in a committed relationship and take it to the next level of as far as marriage and creating a family together, or if you want to stay more separate. And so that might be something you're contending with this month. In the last week, we do have the Page of Wands, and this is a playful energy. It's very kind of flirtatious and fun and energized and creative. And so it's like kind of this roller coaster energy all month long, it seems. But with the Page of Wands upright, what I'm seeing, what I'm interpreting is that perhaps you've been resisting a certain path, like let's say resisting the idea of moving into a more committed relationship, or up leveling that relationship, or moving into a higher commitment. And you end up succumbing or surrendering to that pressure, whether it's time that's pressuring you, or your family, or your friends, or just yourself. Maybe it's an internal pressure that you're kind of like, this is as good as it's gonna get, so I might as well tie the knot, that kind of vibe. The Nine of Wands can be very pessimistic, reversed, I mean. In the upright version, the Nine of Wands can be more optimistic, but like a grounded optimism. But in the reversed, it's just a very pessimistic card. So yeah, you might be feeling like this is as good as it's gonna get, so let's go ahead and tie the knot. But what I'm seeing here is that while you might be surrendering to the outside pressure to move in a certain direction with something, whether it is a relationship, or maybe it's a job, or a career path, or anything, it could be any situation. I feel like if you do surrender to whatever outside influences are being inflicted upon you, that with the Page of Wands coming up in the last week, I feel like it's presenting it's presenting an opportunity to you, or bringing in some kind of message or information or news regarding an opportunity that is putting you on a path for your highest good. It's putting you on, it's like presenting a situation or a path that's actually to your benefit. So while you've been resisting a certain path for some time, or for some reason having resistance against whatever influence or pressure is being inflicted upon you, if you surrender to it, it actually has a beneficial outcome. So keep that in mind, because that's a strong message that's coming through here. I hope that makes sense, because I know I was fumbling over my words. Mercury is retrograde right now. But for the final words of wisdom, we have mindful group think. All right, so the human mind can be so many things. It can be a prison, a latrine, a circus, a temple, and a cave. It can be a place of restriction or a place of never-ending expansion. Right now, be careful of where you wander in your mind. The quality of your thoughts is key, as you're in a fertile time for full manifestation. You want to ensure that the seeds you plant will sprout and flourish into the life you seek to grow. Be mindful not to scatter weeds. It's easy to be influenced by others right now too, especially in our digital age. It's hard to protect yourself from the energy and the sheer amount of information bombarding you 24/7. If you allow all the fear and uncertainty to pollute your mind and emotions, you will fill yourself up with this negativity and then see more of it in the outer world. Okay, so all this negativity, I think, is the Nine of Wands reversed. You're sort of this pessimistic person. So stay out of gossip and other forms of groupthink. For when you cut another person down to their level due to their perceived mistakes or limit them by your envy, you activate lack for yourself. So fill yourself with thoughts of plenty. Imagine your universe unfettered by scarcity and alive with abundant hope and goodness. Be mindful of what your mind is full of and keep the faith. Good brings more good. Love, more love. Gratitude, more things to be grateful for. Okay, so I think the message coming through here is just be careful what you think. And first of all, the message is thoughts become things. So do be careful what you think, because those can manifest in your life. So perhaps you being pessimistic in the third week, or being pessimistic about a certain situation, if you can see the good in that situation, then more good will result from that. All right, Sag, well, I hope that made sense, and I hope that it provided some guidance for you in the month of July. If you did find that this was helpful or resonated with you in some way, please give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and let me know how your month unfolds. And share this video with any of your Sagittarius friends. Thank you for tuning in.